Whoa, lots of people leaving. Okay, that fits the chaos theory. Last night, can all those leaving be more quiet, please? No. Okay. Last night at the football, as the game started between Turkey and Austria, after about 3 minutes of total mayhem, the commentator said, Turkey are embracing the chaos, they're going to win. Which they did a little bit like this today, though, isn't it? Sort of chaos everywhere. I don't know how this gets managed. Chaos everywhere. How do we manage the chaos? Our chaos is different. It's not the football chaos. I'm still going to let people come in before I get going, which is almost done. So the chaos that I'm going to talk about is obviously brands, chaos, and people's heads. What's happening in people's heads as they progress with trying to decide what they're going to buy today. So the issues we have is that the end of linear media consumption, the end of the monoculture. You can't just go out there, put an ad and expect the world to change. You have to consider millions of different things that are going on at the same time, not to mention the phone, not to mention social media. It's just ongoing. You got 2 seconds before you move on, and everything is just attacking at a rapid rate. Our attention span is deteriorating rapidly. We've been compared to goldfish lately. Goldfish, 3 seconds attention span. That's roughly where we are. I know some theory says 5 seconds, but I think that is a marginal difference. What's happening at the end of this is that our heads look a little bit like this. The brands don't exist in a clear space in the middle of our brains. It's broken. It's disconnected and it's fragmented. There's little bits, something I saw over there, a little bit of an ad that I saw, there's a little bit of something on social, I saw a pack over here, or somebody used, different bits and pieces everywhere, and they're sitting there disconnected. There's nothing that holds them together in a way that allows me to understand the brand at any point that I come across any one of these fragments. What it does, it creates a complete commercial nightmare if you're a marketing manager, director, CMO, etc. Because every time you do anything, you got to start from the beginning. Every time you do anything, you got to worry about the whole story being linked to who you are, what you are, and why should anybody buy you. So the issue we've got is commercial effectiveness, and we need to build the brand in such a way that it fits the way in which our brains behaves. We can't just go and do things like we did 20 years ago. If you do things today like you did 20 years ago, I'm sure you've heard it all day today, you're doing it wrong. You've got to fit it to this fragmented, brain all over the place kind of modern world that we live in. So brands, in response to this, needs to behave differently. We need to think that the brand needs to carry a meaning. It's got to carry a narrative, a simple narrative. Not just any narrative, not just a narrative that kind of describes the corporate ideals that I have in my head. I'm just referring to the previous talker. I think that also the brand needs to carry a visual connectivity, a symbolic visual connectivity. It needs to be able to have a narrative in my head. I need to have a symbol that exists in the world visually so I can see it. I need to be able to connect the two everywhere I go. So the brand needs to exist as meaningful and symbolic if they're going to have any kind of commercial effect on people's heads, allow you to act and act and act. So when you go down the streets, when you see a brand that has managed to create this kind of connectivity, you don't have a problem. You don't go around seeing this, thinking to yourself, I wonder what's in there. Do people go through math exams and they get ticks at the end? No, you know exactly what's going on in there. You know that you're getting something to do with sports, clothes, whatever, shoes. And what Nike is also clear. It's clear because what Nike is the goddess of victory in the Greek words, yeah? Nike is actually the goddess of victory. That's her in the Louvre. And the swoosh is because she is the only winged goddess in the lineup of, I don't know how many goddesses they've got all together. Hence the swoosh. You don't need to know this. Some people know it, some people don't know it, but it exists in the back of everything that they do, everything in the mind. And the brand, therefore, exists in a simple way The brand is the meaning of the brand is clear. It's about winning. If she's the goddess of victory, the brand is about winning. They can tell us all sorts of stories about bodies and athletes and blah, blah. This is all very interesting. This is communication. This is down here at the bottom. They've got a visual structure. They've got a symbol that metaphors the idea of winning. They've got an advertising campaign which has got an attitude which tells you how you're going to win. And they've got a brand world that exists everywhere you want to go, which tells you the story in hundreds of different ways, repeatedly the same. Fantastic. The brand is meaningful. It's connected. It's there. A couple of other brands, just so that we get the idea through. We got Apple. So Apple is creativity. It wasn't always creativity. Originally, it was Newton's apple, but it turned to the Garden of Eden apple. And then it's about think different, and about going to boundaries, being creative. And then the whole world that they do is about we are different, we're thinking differently, we are creative. So the whole brand works in a clear way. And just one more brand from over here, just to be more controversial, you got something like Fairy. Fairy stands for gentle. Otherwise, it's everybody else's, yes? We do effective dishes, etc. What makes them different is the idea of gentleness. Every time they try and drop the little baby, the sales flop. I think they're still trying it again. They got the efficacy, they've got the baby, they've got the bottle shape, which is unique. And you've got a brand which is clear on its meaning and its distinctive assets. Distinctive assets create the linkage, the symbolic existence, and the meaning is metaphor through the distinctive assets that the brand holds. So again, the brand is to be meaningful and symbolic, and we call it magnetic brands. If the brand has got both meaning and symbolism inside it, it becomes magnetic. In two ways. Number one, obviously, people get attracted to it, but more interestingly, magnetic also inside the head. All the bits and pieces are hang together. It's hang together. All the bits and pieces attract themselves to themselves. The brand exists in a more of a clear way in the head. We have partnered with Cloud Army to create a model to measure and diagnose how brands become effective through this. I'm not going to go through the whole way in which it's being researched. It's implicit, it's cognitive neuroscience, and it's different to other methods. But what it looks like at the end is that we're measuring symbolism on one hand, meaning on the other hand. And basically, as the brand got both meaning and symbolism, it gets up there to the top. So if you're at the top, you're doing very good. If you're bottom, if you're top left, you need to worry about your narrative. You've got symbols, but they don't mean anything. You get to bottom right, you've got a narrative. You can't, people know what you are, but you've got nothing that holds you together visually. On the shelf, you don't exist, so to speak. Example would be something like Muller, who is I mean, there's nobody here who doesn't know what this is about. Yeah, but can you find it on the shelf? Not really, because it doesn't really exist. Tiny, tiny, tiny. You buy corners, you buy rice. They advertise rice, obviously. Or you go the other way, you got the new Pepsi identity. Fantastic bit of identity. I mean, this is striking. They've sorted out the way they look. Has anybody got any idea what they stand for? What is Pepsi? What's the narrative of Pepsi? What is it? Why? Or down the bottom, something like Wrigley's. I mean, I know it's a chewing gum. I think it's a chewing gum. But I've got no asset in my head. I can't draw it. And I've got no idea why I should buy it apart from its chewing gum. So you get brands that need a complete makeover. So we're trying to map the world around those quadrants. And then we put, this is like top 50. We're doing the same in America. We're doing different categories. Just to give you the idea of how it works. You get brands sitting in different quadrants. And we can very quickly tell you whether they're magnetic, not magnetic. And more importantly, if they're not magnetic, why not? Why not? Which bit drives it down? And if you look at the top 6 brands there at the top, you can see they're all very clear brands with very clear meaning and very clear symbolism. So that's just to explain. Let's just look at some of them in more detail. So controversially, those of you who were in the last 15 minutes, that were 20 minutes, they told us the joy is no longer good for them. They want now to be something else. I'm not responsible for that. Yeah, I know the brand stood for joy for about 50 years. And if they think that a corporate mission can replace why I eat chocolate, that's good for them. But I think in our heads, it's joy. And we've got assets. Such powerful assets. There's a color, there's a swirl, there's two. This is a lot of distinctive assets. So it's hardly surprising that brand sits right at the top right. Next to it, we got Coca-Cola. Happiness, script holds everything, the bottle shape and the color red. Again, we can see how the brands that have distinctive assets, clear things in the world that belongs only to them, and a simple idea of why I should buy them. I'm not talking about purpose, to be clear. Yeah, I'm definitely not talking about purpose. A reason why I should buy them. What's the role that that brand's going to play in my life when I buy it, when I consume it, when I walk into the shop, anything. Yeah? And then you get all sorts of brands appearing in different places. I'm not going to go through the depth of those, but something like Haribo, we've got a little bear, it's standing out, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what it tells me. Or the Kinder, I know it's part of Nutella, but what is it? What do I do with this? Or on the other hand, you get things like Alpro, you got a leaf. It's generic. The symbol does nothing. I don't know what it stands for. So you can see why it drops there to the bottom. Maybe we could go through lots of things like this. I just want to show you one case study to show you how it works and over time. So this is the McCain case study. We started with this, I think over 10 years ago now, if not even more. So that's before. So you can see, I'm going to dissect the brand quickly for you to see why it needed and what it needed. You can see packs here, all selling me different cuts of potatoes. We got the logo there in the middle. We did lots of semiotic analysis and other researches on this. It basically creates the idea of a 1950s freezer with that yellow splash. It's fast food, it's McDonald's. It's basically convenient food. It's fast food, convenient food. And they had a period of about 10 years of decline. The way they tried to manage it is through this idea of basically a positioning of healthiness. This is healthy. 10 years of It's All Good campaign. Which you can see the campaign here, potatoes are good, and on the packs they created this sack with potatoes and the sunflower to connote presumably that this is healthy. That did not work. That few years later they got to the point that they actually were declining faster than their own brand. So at some point somebody worked out, we might have a brand problem. To solve a brand problem, you got to go back to that little idea that you need to have a meaning and a symbol. And the first thing we did is try and work out what's wrong with this meaning, because healthiness is not why I buy chips. This is not going to happen. Yeah, I buy chips because every time I buy chips, I put it on the table, the kids run to the table. Okay, every time you put chips in front of them, it becomes a joyful event and brings the family together. So we got to the idea that what McCain does is actually bring families together. It brings joy to the table. It brings together everywhere, and everywhere you go, people will go around. Even in the pub, you have 3 pints and somebody buys chips. Whoa, we are together. So togetherness seemed to have been a very, very good place to be. And from there, we developed a new identity. So quite a radical move from there to there. So from this, whoa. Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah? So quite a radical move there. Changing the metaphor from convenient food, Frigidaires, and convenience food to a metaphor for family togetherness with the sun bringing joy to everything, natural rising sun. And we get this idea, therefore, you can see again, togetherness, and we got identity, we got the packs, we got activities in the world. And I'm just going to show you a quick film. Hopefully. which led to a continuous growth of the, I mean, the success of the commercial of McCain is everywhere. You can read about it in the grocer every year. And I'm just finishing by reminding you again that magnetic brands are not there to fun, they're there because they're effective, they're commercially effective and allow you to commercially succeed in everything that you do. Thank you very much.